So this lesson is about blood vessels. So we're going to relate the structure of arteries, veins and capillaries to their functions and explain how substances are exchanged between the blood and the tissues. So there are three types of blood vessels that you need to know about at GCSE. There are arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries carry blood away from the heart and veins carry blood in to the heart, and then capillaries goes through the tissues of the body. So blood flows out of the heart, away from the heart through arteries, because it's being pumped through the heart at high pressure. Then when the arteries get to the organs, the rate of blood flow is slowed down and the arteries branch off to form capillaries. And the capillaries is where the blood, that the substances can pass in and out of the cells from the blood or to the blood. Once they've passed through an organ, they will reform, the capillaries will join up again to form veins, which return blood into the heart, and it travels at low pressure. So arteries have thick walls composed of muscle and elastic tissue. So this here is muscle and elastic tissue. So the muscle tissue can contract to constrict the flow of blood through the artery. So you can control the flow of blood to different organs. The elastic tissue allows the artery to expand when the blood is forced out in high pressure surges from the ventricles. And then when the ventricles relax, the elastic tissue allows the artery to recoil. And it means that the pressure of the blood is kept very high. So you can actually feel these surges of blood passing through the artery walls, and they actually bulge and stretch the artery walls, and then they spring back and recoil as the heart muscle relaxes. And you can actually feel the artery stretch and recoil, which is what you feel when you feel your pulse in your wrist. So now looking at veins. Veins have much thinner walls than arteries because they carry blood at lower pressure, so they don't need to cope with a large pressure. And they also have valves to prevent the backflow of blood, to stop it going the wrong way, so that it always goes back to the heart. Capillaries now are the smallest blood vessels, and they have very thin walls, and they allow substances to pass in and out of the blood. They are very narrow, so they only let one red blood cell squeeze through at a time. They have thin walls which are only one cell thick, which allow substances to pass in and out of the cells and the capillaries very easily. So body tissues or body cells will need soluble foods such as glucose and also oxygen for respiration. So they will pass out of the blood through the capillary wall into the cells. But then the substances that cells produce are carbon dioxide and other waste such as urea, which will pass back into the blood through the capillary walls. So that's a summary. You've got arteries have very thick muscle and elastic layers to cope with high pressure blood. Veins have very thin walls because they only have to cope with low pressure blood. And capillaries have walls which are only one cell thick, which means there's a short diffusion pathway, so substances can pass easily in and out of the capillaries. Just a note about flow of blood. You can use MRI scans to measure the flow of blood in a body, and the blood flow from the heart is called the cardiac output and is the volume of blood pumped by the heart per minute, and the stroke volume is the volume of blood pumped out of the heart per minute. So to measure the cardiac output in centimetres cubed per minute is the heart rate in beats per minute times by the stroke volume in centimetres cubed per minute. So if you increase the heart rate or the stroke volume, the cardiac output will increase. So if a person has a resting heart rate of 70 beats per minute and a resting stroke volume of 75 centimetres cubed per minute, cardiac output for this person will be the beats per minute times by the stroke volume. So it just be 70 times by 75, which equals 5,250 centimetres cubed per minute. So as an example, an athlete is exercising if their maximum heart rate is 130 beats per minute and stroke volume is 150 centimetres cubed. What is the cardiac output in decimeters cubed? So you do 130 times by 150 centimetres cubed to get the cardiac output in centimetres cubed, but then you have to convert it to decimeters cubed. So you'd have to divide it by 1,000 to get 19.5 decimeters cubed per minute. And that's it for blood vessels.